All right, it is time for a presentation on roads. Mr. Bezej, road doctor. You bringing backup?
Yes, of course. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Tonight is our second presentation on Gear Road Rehabilitation Project. Last year, we held our first public information meeting, received comments from the public, and then came here for a similar presentation to you. Now that we are in final stages of design, we are doing exactly the same thing. Last month, we had our second public information meeting, went over the status of the project. We are here to basically present the same information to you, ask for your input, your comments, and try our best to answer your questions. With that, I turn this over to Ed Noriega. He is with Mark Thomas and Company, our design consultant, to go over the presentation.
Thank you, Fred. Good evening. So, like Fred mentioned, this is the presentation that we provided to the public about a month ago. So it's about the Gear Road project, which is a really important arterial through the city. It goes north-south from central Turlock all the way to the north edge of the city at Taylor Road. The agenda for that evening was to go over mainly the project, the objectives, talk about the existing conditions, and then the proposed improvements. But more importantly, as we progress, to talk about the construction packages for the project and how we're going to manage construction to lessen the inconvenience for the public. Then we discuss the project funding, then the schedule. Project objective mainly was to fix the pavement, fill in some sidewalk gaps along the corridor, making it ADA compliant for the pedestrians out there, as well as to check to make sure that the project is consistent with the city's active transportation plan and the general plan. We're currently in the green box in the middle, which is the environmental document and final design. We intend to finish that here at the end of this year so that the project can begin construction next year. 2026. Existing conditions along the corridor, everyone's aware, distressed pavement throughout the corridor. There are some drainage challenges along the corridor. Turlock is really flat. There are some curb ramps, curb returns that are not ADA compliant that need to get fixed, and some uneven sidewalks as well as some missing sidewalks along the corridor. This map is rotated to the right, so north to the right of it. Golden State Boulevard is to the left, Taylor to the right, and the yellow line that you see in the middle is Gear Road. When we did our investigation, we recognized that we don't have to fully reconstruct the entire corridor. It's really resurfacing of the pavement south of Canal to Golden State, then north of Calaveras to Taylor Road, resurfacing the road pavement still in good condition. However, in the middle, it does need to be reconstructed. Pavement's in really bad condition through there. Along the corridor, the sidewalk gaps are more to the south end of the project shown there on red. And we also noticed that there have been some bike lane striping already along the corridor in the newer portions up there in the north end. This is a typical section of the existing corridor where the main thing to look at is that there's 80 feet of space from face of curb to face of curb. That's how much room we have to work with, and the right-of-way width for the corridor is 110 feet. In the city's general plan, for new construction for roads such as a major arterial, it requires a 126-foot width, right-of-way to right-of-way, with 96 feet of width from face of curb to face of curb. That's wider than the existing 80 feet that's out there. So we can implement this general plan, but what that means is that we're widening the road, reconstructing a lot of sidewalk out there, and even acquiring every single right-of-way from every single parcel along the corridor. So the appropriate and practical way to go about implementing the general plan is to figure out a way to keep it, the improvements within that 80-foot face occur to face occur. So with that, what we did focus on is to make it consistent with the city's ATP, the Active Transportation Plan, is to implement the bike lane. That's the bike lanes that are missing along the corridor. So it is a buffered bike lane that's in the general plan, and what that means is there's marking that you see there on the image that showed up there. There's marking on the pavement between where the motorist will be, the traveling, or I guess the main line there, and the bike lane. So it's a distinct feature to make it a little bit more safer, is really why it's in your ATP and your general plan. What that does, though, as we implement the bike lanes, is that it does impact areas where you could park along the corridor. These green lines on here are on-street parking along the corridor, where some of them are marked for parking and some are not, but we've identified them as an area where you could actually park, and those will be impacted. Mainly where the schools are. So across Stanislaus State, along the west side of Gear, there's parking that's marked up there that would be impacted by the project. That parking there won't be any parking on street with this project. Then there are residential areas on the south of Pedras there, shown there in purple, that would be affected because of the parking being impacted. There are traffic signals along the corridor. We are converting those, the detection from loops to cameras, as the city's trying to modify those signals across every single time they have the opportunity with these projects. Part of that, of the electrical equipment out there, is applying rapid flashing beacons there are 3 crosswalks that aren't protected by signals. And so with this project, we have rapid flashing beacons to inform the driver that there's a crosswalk, they're about to approach a crosswalk, and there might be pedestrians in the roadway. Another set of improvements would be the southbound left turn lane southbound towards Golden State will be extended, trying to maximize that. It's a dual left right now that stacks up quite a bit into the through movement, so that's much needed. Then in the northbound direction, making a left onto Monte Vista, that's also being extended to allow for that stacking to stay into the left turn pocket instead of into the through movement. For construction packages, we've set up the project to have 3 packages so that the city has options in how to bid this. We're going to either bid it all together or stagger it, mainly because this will take multiple years to construct. So construction package 1 from Golden State to Hawkeye is one package, and construction package 2, Hawkeye to Monte Vista. The goal right now is to combine those packages and get those bid out together. However, the city has the option of including the 3rd package, which is Monte Vista North to Taylor. So the city has options here in the next over the next month to make decisions on how to package it up so it can be bid. So this is just a graphical illustration of what packages 1, 2, and 3 look like, and the years that we are anticipating them being constructed. So package 1 starting here in the spring, summer of 2026 into 2027, and soon after that, towards the end of that construction, if the city decides to bid package 3 separately, then the timing would be that it would get bid so that they can, as soon as the first 2 packages are complete, then they can continue to bid the project. And the important thing to think about here is also the inconvenience to the public. That's why we're trying to package these things up the way we are. So again, with the inconvenience to the public, it is a major arterial through the city, and so we can't just close this road down and construct it. It would get a lot of calls if we were to do that. So the plan is to maintain 1 lane in each direction at a minimum and construct the corridor in stages. And this particular typical section here shows where The work will be done on the outside first, while traffic is maintained in the middle and the inside lanes. When that's completed, the work will be focused in the middle and work on those medians, while traffic is shifted out to the outside with the new constructed pavement. But what we don't want to do is plan that for the entire length of the package. So what we're trying to do is also limit the contractor's exposures so that they're moving up the corridor on a block per block basis, where in this particular slide, this shows the construction work that we're proposing to the contractors to start from Golden State to Star Avenue. So small segment where you'll see the shifting of lanes. Then, when they're complete with that segment, they can move up the corridor, and this goes from Star to Hawkeye. So that would be construction package 1. And we're going to do that throughout the corridor. One of the elements also is to make sure that for pedestrians, they're aware which sidewalks are being worked on, which sidewalks are closed, so that they don't have to circle back because there's not enough signage out there. Another element is controlling speeds out there to make sure that we'll work with traffic and to make sure that the speeds are controlled through the construction zone so that for safety reasons. A key element of this, especially in the commercial areas, is access to driveways. So we're including in the plans to make sure that the contractor is making the public aware which driveways are open during construction, especially for commercial, the retail areas out there and offices, so they know which driveways are accessible if they have to visit that area. Project funding. So on the screen there, you'll see the cost, engineer's estimate for the 3 different packages. Funding for it is, as you're aware, is through Measure A, but also supplemented with the STBG grant, Surface Transportation Block Grant, which the city was able to secure about a year ago, $4.8 million. But the city's also trying to secure an additional $2 million, which we should be notified here in the next few months whether the city received it or not. From a project schedule perspective, the first box here is the activities up to this point from when we started in September 2023 to the 4th bullet down there, final design, which is what we started in summer of 2024, and we're now here trying to finish up the plan so that it can be bid. Had the public meeting about a month ago to inform the public of the slides that you just saw, and now this evening presenting those to the City Council. So that the goal is to move forward to bidding here at the end of this year or early next year so that city can begin constructing this project next year. This is just slide, at the public meeting we reminded everyone that there were comment cards available if they had any comments, suggestions, questions, or anything like that, and an email with our public outreach firm that helped us organize the meeting. With that, that's the end of the presentation.
All right, thank you. Questions?
Yes. Could you clarify on the slide with the rapid flashing beacons what that's gonna look like? Because I know, like, I think southbound on Gear near Calaveras, there's like one overhead one. How is it going to compare to that versus something that's like on Lander, in Hillmar, in front of the school? Where does it fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, for this particular project, because it's an arterial where you have 2 lanes in each direction, if there's space on the edges, we're recommending the overhead, a mast arm on top over the roadway, so there's a flashing beacon right above so that it's notifying the public, or the driver.
And signs, there will be flashing signs mounted on the poles.
So when a pedestrian hits the button, flashing lights will go off.
Flashing lights,
It's
and also
extra.
the overhead beacon to basically attract attention.
Like on
And
pole?
the Hillmar
Yeah.
that you're referencing, that's a different system, 1 or 2 steps beyond this, and that is a Hawk system. We looked at that here, but that means you have to stop traffic 2, 3, sometimes 4 minutes. And I don't believe that's going to sit well with anybody on on its corridor, so.
Another question, there's been a lot of construction happening on Gear, not through the city's doing, but with PG&E work, and they eventually moved their construction to nighttime. Was that nighttime restriction going to be part of our big package?
We are
too?
not going to have nighttime construction, and we are not going to use plates on the road. So the only time that we would have anything during the night, perhaps if we need extended hours during the day, go beyond 5, 6, or even 7 o'clock, just to allow the paving operation to be completed. Otherwise, there is no construction at night. There will be a lot of noise, and especially the equipment that we're going to use, very heavy equipment, large equipment, a lot of noise and vibration that would reverberate at night especially. So we looked at that, we decided against that.
I see. And then, one more, it's just a comment because you and I had an offline conversation about the bike lane and the loss of parking along the university there. I know that's heavily utilized. And, I just want to let everybody know that city staff worked as hard as they could to try to come up with a solution so we could have a really safe bike plan and also try to maintain parking. And it just, it wasn't going to work out on this spell, but I hope that future collaboration between the university and the city, we can come up with a way that we can have parking and have a great bike path.
Just for the public's edification, one of the two reasons is the noise, that you don't do it at night, and the other being that if you're going to do it in the winter, you have weather conditions that are important. You have a certain temperature.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There are temperature restrictions for asphalt work. So, and as the temperatures drop, you just don't have the opportunity to do that. And nighttime work generally is not as safe as daytime.
Any other questions? Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.